Hey, it's Desiree Stafford, the creator of Radical Freedom and Effortless Client Flow. Super excited to have you join me today because I'm going to share with you about my ugly cry and what it has to do with you getting what you really want in life and or business, okay? So yesterday was my birthday, and typically our birthdays are about celebration. It's about excitement. It's about joy and all this kind of stuff. Really being excited that you are here, and moving forward and growing and all that kind of stuff. And that's what it was for me also. It also was it's always a day that I spend time in quiet reflection. And I found myself crying, like sobbing, like these massive tears of relief and just this overwhelming sense of joy and gratitude for the growth that I've experienced over the last several decades. And that's all I'm going to share with you in terms of my age. But, and don't let the gray hair fool you, by the way. Anyway, it really brought to light like a lot of shifts that I've experienced in my life and in my business because, our businesses and our lives are very interrelated. They're connected. So it brought to light some of the changes that I've made in order to get myself to this place of feeling really excited, this place of feeling, much more abundant, much more happy, much more fulfilled. And so I want to share with you one of the things, and thanks for the love, by the way. I want to share with you one of the things that really came up, like as a reoccurring theme that I noticed, that when I shifted this thing, this is what started to allow me to feel all of this goodness that I'm feeling right now. Because so many of us don't even realize that we're making this mistake. And I didn't realize at many times that I was making this mistake also. So I want to share with you what it is, because I think that once you understand this mistake and you know how to look for it, you know how to identify it, you can stop yourself in the tracks and actually get yourself back on track to whatever it is that you desire. All right. So let me just share the mistake. How about we go there? The mistake is waiting. I have been waiting my entire life for various things, right? At different stages of our lives, we go through different things. And I realized, one of the things that I had to overcome with this was this idea of waiting for the time to be right, waiting for the money to be there, waiting for, having a bigger audience, having a bigger list, like all those things that I thought I needed to wait on in order to allow myself to experience certain things, okay? And I see this with so many other successful or on the verge of being really successful coaches, speakers, experts, whomever, where we're waiting, right? There's this thing that we think we have to have, or sometimes it's several things that we think we have to have in order to allow ourselves, or in order to give ourselves permission to experience, to really pursue whatever goal it is or desire that we have for our lives and or our businesses. And so when I noticed it about myself, and I noticed how it popped up in many different areas of my life, not just my business, right? But many different areas, I started calling myself on it, right? And look, this is not something that, I've never noticed before. I have noticed it before. But when I looked at when I was holding myself back the most, it was this concept, this idea of waiting for things to be different. That was the main thing, the main mistake that I had been making. And again, in many different areas when I wasn't really aware that that's what I was doing. So let me share with you what I notice other people doing, like people who come to me, clients who come to me, or even prospects who come to me, sometimes even colleagues, where they're actually waiting and not realizing that they're waiting. And if this goes unchecked, if you're not realizing that you're waiting, whatever rationalization you create for yourself as to why you're not achieving or why you're not experiencing, why you're not having, being, or doing whatever it is that you desire, if this goes unchecked, it will never happen for you, right? And the worst thing for you to do is to continue your life in this way where you're really denying yourself. You're really holding back. Hey, Leslie, how are you? Thanks for the love. You're really holding back from allowing yourself to experience all that is there for you, from allowing yourself to actually reach your full potential, right? So what I notice is time is a big one, right? How many times have you said to yourself, I don't have the time to do X, Y, Z, right? Or I don't have the money to do X, Y, Z. Or I don't have the audience. Like maybe, you feel like your name isn't big enough yet. People don't really know who you are. So maybe you can't charge what you want to charge, or maybe you can't make what you want to make, right? Or maybe you're saying to yourself, I don't have a fancy website, or I don't have a big enough list. Or, maybe you're saying to yourself, well, my spouse doesn't really support me yet. Or, my friends don't support, or my family doesn't understand. And so all of these things become like excuses. They become your reason for not doing, being, or having whatever it is that you desire. Maybe you're saying to yourself, well, when my kids grow up, then I'll focus on my business, right? But all of those reasons, because I know they feel like genuine reasons to you, right? They're actually excuses. They're actually a way to keep you waiting, to keep you where you are, and keep you feeling stuck, unfulfilled, like you're struggling, just getting by, but you're not at the place where you allow yourself, where you give yourself permission to really thrive. And that's what you have to be willing to do for yourself, right? You've got to get yourself to that place where you're saying, no matter what, I am going to thrive, right? So let me ask you right now, what are the things that come up for you? And you can, jot it down in the comment section, or you can just think it out to yourself. But what are the things that come up for you whenever you want to be, do, or have something that you're using as a reason, as an excuse to wait, right? To not really go for it, because it's important that you realize when you're doing this. So first, think about whatever it is that you want to be, do, or have. I'll give you a second to do that. Think of whatever that thing is. What would be awesome? What would be like earth-shattering? What would be like, you feel like you're on fire, you're on purpose if you were to be, do, or have that particular thing? What is that for you? Think about it. You can share it in the comments, or you can think about it to yourself. Okay? So once you have that thing in your mind, now I want you to think of, what are you, hey Sarah, how are you? What are you telling yourself is the reason why you cannot, or you have not, allowed yourself to be, do, or have that thing, right? What is that thing that you're telling yourself? Because that's important. It's important that you recognize what it is that you want, and recognize how you're stopping yourself, how you're actually, continuing to wait instead of saying, I'm going for this. Because nothing happens. The needle does not move until you decide, until you say yes to yourself, until you say now is the time, regardless of your circumstances, right? But if you don't do that, then guess what happens? The universe does not show up to support you with the people, with the ideas, with the resources, with the opportunities for you to be, do, or have whatever it is that you desire, right? It just won't, right? Because you have to make the commitment. You have to make the decision to yourself that this is what I am going to do, regardless of what you see around you, before anything changes, right? Before anything changes. And that's where so many of us, again, typically it's unconscious, but this is where a lot of us kind of get stuck. We believe the things that we say to ourselves. We really believe when we say, I don't have the time, that it's legit most of the time, right? Right? If it goes unchecked. We believe that we don't have the money. We believe it's because we don't have the bigger website. We don't have the bigger audience, because our spouse isn't supporting us, right? We believe all of those things that we tell ourselves. But I need for you to understand that that is not the truth. Right? That is not the truth. You are so much more powerful than you realize you are. And it starts with you deciding that you are going to be, do, or have whatever it is that you want. And that is when, again, the ideas, the people, the resources, all will show up to support you in doing that. But if you're allowing these excuses to keep you waiting, to keep you stuck, to keep you tolerating, to keep you settling, it won't change. It won't. It has no reason to change, right? You have to be the cause. You have to be the reason. And the way that you become the cause, the way that you become the reason, is by saying, this is what I want, regardless of what I see, right? This is what I want, regardless of what I see. And it requires you to be aware, because, when this goes unchecked, when we are denying ourselves, when we are delaying, when we're doing all of these things, if it goes unchecked for a long amount of time, it becomes normal to us, which is why we don't see it, right? That's why I didn't see when I was telling myself, oh, I don't have the time, that I'm going to take a nice trip to Europe. I haven't been to Europe in, I don't know, maybe 6 years or so. And I wanted to do this last year, but I kept putting it off. I kept telling myself, I don't have the time. I don't have the money to do the trip in the way that I really want to do the trip, which was all bullshit, right? I was afraid to make the decision. I was afraid to commit to it, right? And I didn't realize it at the time. And so a year went by, and it went unchecked, and I really believed my own bullshit, you know what I mean? And then I finally thought, yeah, but that's nonsense, right? I know better than this. I know that once you decide, once you say yes, that's when you bring in the level of commitment and conviction that you need in order for the universe to show up and support you. But if you're kind of wishy-washy, if you're kind of in that place of, I'd like to, but I want to, but You know, if you're in that place, guess what? You're going to stay in that place. Nothing will change until you change, right? Until you change your mind about whatever it is that you want to be, do, or have, right? It comes from you. It doesn't come from your circumstances. The money's not going to show up in your bank account unless you decide you need it for a particular thing, right? The time isn't going to magically appear unless you decide you need it for whatever it is that you want, right? You have to come from that place. You be the cause. Thanks, Camila, for the love, by the way. So this is all, and thanks for sharing this, Camila. Also, if anyone else wants to share, I would encourage you to do so. So these are some of the ways that, again, we deny ourselves. And I heard this a long time ago. I don't remember exactly who said it, but they said, the problem is you think you have time. And that is so true. We think that we have more time than we do, okay? We have a finite amount of time. All we really are guaranteed at this moment is this present moment, right? The future is not guaranteed to us. So why not decide today that you are going to be, do, or have whatever it is that you want, and you're going to commit to doing that, and you're going to live every single day of your life as if it's the best day and also the last day of your life, and you're going to make a total commitment to achieving, to realizing, to experiencing whatever that thing is that you desire to be, do, or have, right? Why not live your life? Why not operate from that place, from that level of perspective, instead of constantly allowing yourself, because this is we're allowing this, right? Allowing yourself to sell yourself short, to tell yourself, I don't have the time, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have that, right? You're here to live a purpose, right? The reason why you're in business for yourself is because there's something that you feel called to do. There is a mission, there is a purpose, there's a movement, there's something that's pulling you forward. But if you're constantly putting the brakes on because it's not the right time, because you don't have the money that you want to have in your bank account, because your friends don't support you, because your man doesn't understand, because, when will that change, right? It will never change until you change. It will never change until you change. And that's what I wanted to share with you today, because I think someone watching this now or who's going to watch the replay needs to hear this message, so you really light a fire under your butt and you get off of it, right? And it's not good enough that you show up every day and you market and you take action if you're not coming from this place of conviction, right? If you're not coming from this place of, there's a mission that I am here to fulfill and every fucking day I'm fulfilling it. If you're not coming from that level of conviction, just sit down, right? Just sit down, because you're not really moving the needle for yourself nor for your people, right? And that's what we're here to do. If we want to change the world, because I know many of you, you're about making a contribution, you want to make an impact, that starts with you. That starts with you lighting a fire in your own belly, okay? Because that level of enthusiasm, that level of excitement, that level of passion, that level of conviction is what touches other people. It's what inspires other people. It's what helps other people decide for themselves to then take action, to make a commitment to whatever it is that they want to be, do, or have, right? So it's important that you get that for yourself and you stop waiting. You stop telling yourself that now is not the right time. You stop allowing your circumstances to dictate to you, and you start dictating to your circumstances, right? That's when we're really empowered. And so I hope that my own reflection about where I was falling down, where I wasn't really being who I thought I wanted, or not thought, but who I said I was going to be, that I wasn't really showing up and living life and being, the business mentor and the coach that I know I'm capable of being, and that I was saying that I was being. There was a difference there, right? There was a disconnect there. And so I had to be real with myself and realize that if I keep telling myself that I can't have, or I can't be, or I can't do X, Y, and Z until, then I'm not really walking my talk the way I need to be walking my talk, right? And so I'm hoping that me really becoming aware of this for myself and sharing this with you will also help you realize where you're not really walking your talk, so you can get in alignment, right? Because when you do that, when you make a yes commitment to yourself, right? You get full body yes all up in whatever decision it is that you're going to be, do, or have what you're going to have, right? When you get to that place, that's when doors open up for you, right? That's when doors open up for you, and it also opens up for the people that you serve. So, again, I hope you got some real value out of today. Let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to share. Oh, I think I covered everything. Does anyone have any questions while you're here? It's you, Camila. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions while you're here? Or any comments that I can answer for you right now? Because I really want I don't want this to be, a video where you come and you watch and you're like, oh, cool, awesome insight, and then nothing happens. I really want this to inspire you to do something different in your life, to inspire you to make a new commitment in your life for your business. So how can I help you? How can I serve you? Ask away if you have any questions. In the meantime, I'm going to just check over my notes to see if I missed anything that I wanted to share. Oh, I did. I did miss something. Okay. What I wanted to say was that one of the reasons why most people don't get what they want in business, why they don't get what they want in life, is because they don't decide. Okay, so that's one of the things I really want to inspire you to do today, is decide on something that you've been putting off, something that you've been denying yourself, something that you've been waiting on. I'm going to ask you to decide today whether or not you're going to do it. Because if you're going to do it, fantastic, right? Make the decision, make the commitment, and go do it. If you're not going to do it, fantastic. Let that shit go and then clear your head, right? Clear your head, clear, the mental space so that you can have new ideas come in, right? But you've got to make a decision. If you really want something, whether it's more money, whether it's better quality clients, whether it's a bigger house, a nicer car, a 6-week European vacation, the man of your dreams, whatever the hell it is that you want, or whoever you want to be in this world and in your business, whatever those things are for you, decide today that you're going to have it, that you're not going to continue to wait. Okay? Decide for yourself today, because you can't get it until you decide. You can't get it from this place of being wishy-washy, from kind of like straddling the fence. You got to shit or get off the fence, right? That's what you have to do. So I really want to encourage everyone who's watching this, and I'm glad my words are helping. Thank you, Camila. Anyone who's watching this or going back to watch the replay, I really want you to think about, what is that thing that you've been putting off? What is that thing that you've been denying? What is that thing that you've been delaying, right? Because there's some reason, there's some rationalization that you've come up with. What is that thing? And commit to that today. Or either commit to saying hell yes to it, and then allowing the ideas, the resources, the opportunities to come to you to fulfill it, or let it go so that new ideas can come to you that you will want to commit to, right? So do one of those two things today. Awesome. So anyone with any questions, comments, feedback before we wrap up? Thanks for joining, guys, and thanks for sharing the video and your love. Okay, so doesn't seem like I have any questions. If you go back and you watch the replay and you have questions, all you have to do is type into the comment box, ask away, and I will respond to you. And until we speak again, guys, I hope you are up to big, bold things in your life and in your business. Take care.